Hi, I'm Dana Obleman, creator of the Sleep Sense program. This week's question comes from Maria, and she writes, our 7-month-old goes to bed fine after a bath every night around 8 o'clock, but he won't stay asleep. He falls back to sleep after I nurse him, but how can I help him stay asleep? Well, couple of things to think about here, Maria. First of all, when you say he goes to bed fine at bedtime, one of two things I think is happening. Either it's really easy for you to rock him to sleep or nurse him to sleep and then transfer him to his crib, or maybe he falls asleep completely on his own at bedtime. I have lots of clients who are doing the Sleep Sense program who email me or call and say, I've done everything, he's falling asleep great at bedtime, totally on his own, just chats to himself and falls asleep, but is still having night wakings. And if that's the case, then great, because half the battle's already won. He's falling asleep great at bedtime. That's really the main goal. And so if that's the case and he's still waking up to nurse, my next issue is that he falls asleep while nursing through the night. So what can happen then is the baby learns the skills they need for falling asleep at bedtime, but then sort of falls back into the old familiar ways for the rest of the night. And so we might wake up randomly and think it's time for him to get on the breast and sort of take the easy way back to sleep. And so if that's the case, you want to break that, you want to break the connection between nursing and sleep altogether, 100%. It really can't linger, or else the baby will think, well, maybe you'll go back to that, and you might even find that he starts crying again at bedtime in hopes that you'll nurse him back to sleep again. So I would say goodbye to that completely. Now for 7 months old, you could run this by your doctor first, make sure he gets a clean bill of health and his weight is fine, but lots of 7-month-olds can be sleeping totally through the night without any feeds. So you might consider just pulling his night feeds cold turkey. And so every time you had a night waking, you'd either go back to your stay in the room method or the leave and check until he goes back to sleep. Now the good news is, because he does it well at bedtime, it really only takes a couple of nights to get him through for the night wakings. Because that skill base is already there, it's just a matter of teaching him that every time he wakes up, he's going to handle the situation exactly the same. So I would just pull him cold turkey. If you wanted to keep a feed, though, you weren't confident yet that he could go the whole night without food, I would keep one feed and I'd make it really businesslike. So turn on the light or the lamp next to you, keep a close eye on him, let him nurse enough for a feed, but don't let it linger. So you're not going to let him start suckling his way back to sleep. Don't even let him close his eyes. Now, he won't be, as bright-eyed as he might be during the day, but you really want to break that connection between the breast and going back to sleep. So talk to him, tickle him, poke him a little if you see his eyes start to get heavy, but make sure he stays awake through the feed and then goes back to his crib awake. And that way, you'll have a better chance that he's going to start breaking that whole connection between nursing and sleep. So that's my best advice for you. Either pull it or keep one, but make sure he stays awake through it all. And that should keep him asleep. Thanks for your question, Maria. Sleep well.